Israelis discovered the man they had killed was Sinwar, the mastermind of October 7th. Tonight, President Biden has spoken with Prime Minister Netanyahu, both agreeing that this could now be an opportunity for a ceasefire and a hostage deal, vowing to work together to make it happen. ABC's Tom Zufi-Burridge leading us off from Israel tonight.
Tonight, this Israeli military drone capturing the final moments of Israel's most wanted terrorist, the mastermind of the October 7th terror attack, Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. This graphic image showing his dead body after he was killed by Israeli forces. It was IDF reservists, not special ops, who came across Sinwar by chance during a routine operation in Rafah yesterday, flying that drone into a building after a gun battle, spotting an armed man sitting in a chair, his face covered, his hand bleeding after being shot. The man throwing an object at the drone, soldiers soon after killing him. But at this point, they still didn't know it was Sinwar. In fact, it wasn't until today when a separate unit checking the building found his body and recognized it was the Hamas leader, confirming his identity through DNA, dental records and fingerprints. Tonight, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying Sinwar's death brings the end of the war closer, but it's not over yet. President Biden today speaking with Netanyahu from Air Force One, congratulating him on Sinwar's assassination. The two leaders agreeing this is an opportunity to secure the release of the hostages, vowing to work together.
He had a lot of blood in his hands. American blood, Israeli blood, others.
US officials telling us Sinwar was the main roadblock in the latest ceasefire and hostage negotiations. Across Israel today, cheers, but also fear.
Well, they're chanting enough. The hope amongst these families and friends of the hostages is that the death of Yahya Sinwar could open the door for the end of the war in Gaza and a deal to get their loved ones home.
Family members of the remaining hostages, including Americans, taking to the streets, now more concerned than ever.
I'm not shedding one single tear for the life of him, but now there's no central leadership. So the hostages are now left to the mercy of the local captor, which is much more dangerous for them.
Killing Sinwar has been one of the main goals of Israel's war with Hamas. Sinwar in hiding for more than a year and seen here in a Gaza tunnel in video released by the IDF in February. Today, the IDF posting 3 words: eliminated Yahya Sinwar. Vice President Harris today saying justice has been served.
Sinwar was the mastermind of October 7, the deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust.
And saying this about his killing.
The United States, Israel, and the entire world are better off as a result.
And tonight, Sinwar's assassination dealing a major blow to Hamas amid the threat of wider escalation in this region.
So let's get to Tom Zufi-Burridge with us live from Israel tonight. And Tom, of course, this assassination of the mastermind of the October 7th attack comes at a critical moment, not only in the war against Hamas, but the security of the entire region here at stake.
Yeah, David, with Sinwar dead, the world is watching, and relatives of the hostages are expressing real fear about the fate of their loved ones. But there is hope tonight from President Biden that the war in Gaza could now end, in his words, very soon. David?
Tom Zufi-Burridge live in Tel Aviv tonight. Tom, thank you. Back here in the U.S. tonight, 19 days to the presidential election. Former President Donald Trump stunning many during a town hall. Trump telling a man who had asked Trump a question that January 6th was a day of love. Vice President Kamala Harris blasting Trump for calling it a day of love, saying the country and the world saw the violence that day. Tonight, the moment in that town hall, what the voter asked, and now the fallout. Mary Bruce from Wisconsin.
Tonight in battleground Wisconsin, Vice President Kamala Harris taking aim at Donald Trump for his new comments calling January 6th a, quote, day of love.
We here know January 6th was a tragic day. It was a day of terrible violence. There were attacks on law enforcement. 140 law enforcement officers were injured. Some were killed. And what did Donald Trump say last night about January 6th? He called it a, quote, a day of love.
Trump's comments came in a Univision town hall.
Buenas noches, señor Trump.
In response to a question from a Republican voter, Ramiro Gonzalez, who told the former president he was disturbed by his actions on January.
Thousands.
Though Trump says the crowd on January 6th didn't come because of him, he was the one who told them to travel to Washington, promising, quote, "it will be wild." Tonight, that voter saying he won't be voting for Trump, quote, "because he didn't tell me the truth." And Harris not holding back.
It points out something that everyone here knows. The American people are exhausted with his gaslighting. Exhausted.
In the final 2.5 weeks of this campaign, Harris warning Trump is a danger to America, particularly after saying he would use the military on what he calls the enemy within. In a contentious interview with Fox News, Harris pushing back when the interviewer played a clip of Trump denying it all.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening.
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Well, he was asked about that specific...
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you.
That was the question that we asked him.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy.
Heading into the final sprint, Harris is really hammering this message that Donald Trump is a danger to democracy and trying to reach those Republicans and independents who have real doubts about backing Trump. Now, tomorrow, both Harris and Trump will be in the key state of Michigan trying to shore up support in the Rust Belt. David.
Less than 3 weeks until the election now. Mary Bruce tonight. Mary, thank you. We turn now to the chilling new details tonight in the death of One Direction singer Liam Payne. He was just 31 years old. The 3-story fall at a hotel in Argentina. Tonight, some authorities saying he jumped, but that they're still investigating whether it was intentional. And tonight here, the new images from inside the singer's hotel room. Here's ABC's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, disturbing new details in the tragic death of One Direction member Liam Payne. Late yesterday, the 31-year-old pop star falling about 40 feet from his third-floor hotel room in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Paramedics pronouncing him dead at the scene. The security ministry now tells ABC News the singer jumped from the balcony, but authorities are still investigating if it was intentional. He is believed to have been alone in his hotel room, but reports say earlier the singer had been acting aggressively and erratically in the hotel lobby. A concerned hotel manager making this 911 call in Spanish requesting help.
Y necesitamos que nos envíen a alguien urgente para una habitación que tiene balcón y bueno, estamos un poco con temor de que haga algo que le ponga en riesgo su vida.
The prosecutor's office confirms these photos shared with ABC News were taken inside Payne's hotel room, appearing to show drugs and a smashed television. A preliminary autopsy report saying Payne's death was the result of multiple traumas and internal and external bleeding, adding Payne didn't seem to adopt a reflex posture to protect himself, and that he could have fallen while in a state of semi or total unconsciousness. Overnight, shocked fans gathering outside the Casa Sur Hotel. Payne had been in Argentina since the beginning of October when he attended the concert of former One Direction bandmate Niall Horan. Payne seen dancing in the crowd.
Morning, everybody.
He posted this video to Snapchat just hours before his death. Payne leaves behind a son. Tonight, his family saying, "We are heartbroken. Liam will forever live in our hearts and we'll remember him for his kind, funny, and brave soul." And for the first time, his former bandmates speaking out in a joint statement, "We're completely devastated by the news of Liam's passing. We will miss him terribly."
And David, Liam Payne had previously been open about his struggles with substance abuse. The medical examiner has now requested a toxicology report.
David, Trevor Ault on this case again tonight. Thank you, Trevor. Now to the breaking headline from Texas at this hour. Just in, the execution of a prisoner set for 7 p.m. Eastern has suddenly been halted for now. That prisoner on death row, a father convicted of shaken baby syndrome more than 20 years ago. ABC's Berea Villarreal from Texas.
Tonight, a stunning reprieve just hours before he was set to be put to death. A Texas judge halting the execution of Robert Roberson, the first person scheduled to die by lethal injection in a case of shaken baby syndrome.
I can't tell you what happened to her because I don't know.
Roberson was convicted of murdering his 2-year-old daughter, Nikki, in 2002. He said he woke to find her unresponsive after she fell off the bed, but a doctor said there were signs of shaken baby syndrome. The detective who helped convict Roberson now believes he's innocent.
He's a special man, and I'm ashamed that I missed that 20 years ago. We were looking for an offender, we labeled him as such, and we made it stick, all based on junk science.
The American Academy of Pediatrics warns about the dangers of shaking infants, but experts have challenged the shaken baby syndrome used in criminal cases from decades ago when the science was less understood. Roberson's lawyers argued new evidence suggests Nikki died of pneumonia made worse by medication. Wharton, who has worked to try and stop the execution, visiting him in prison with the New York Times.
What do you want to say to me? You know, me and the folks that helped put you here.
I would like to let y'all know I forgive y'all and stuff. You know, just hope and pray that we can make things right together.
David, all of this comes as a bipartisan group of Texas legislators fought to stop this execution. Now, it is on halt, at least until Monday. That's when we've confirmed Roberson will be able to testify in front of a House committee at noontime. But I've spoken with several House representatives late this afternoon. They say this is highly unprecedented, and there are still a lot of lingering questions. David?
We'll be tracking it right through next week, of course, with you, Maria. Thank you. Well, with abortion and reproductive rights a key issue this presidential election tonight, 3 states are launching a new push to roll back access to the abortion pill nationwide. Missouri, Kansas, and Idaho are now challenging FDA regulations that ease access to pills, including dispensing by mail, claiming the drug is dangerous and costly. The Supreme Court rejected an earlier version of the lawsuit. The states hope their new case will have a different outcome. When we come back here tonight, a former Olympian on the run tonight, what he's accused of across the U.S. and Canada. The coldest air of the season coming tonight, the freeze and frost warnings in a moment. And we remember a Hollywood great tonight. She was loved. Body tonight here, celebrating actress Mitzi Gaynor from the golden age of Hollywood musicals.
Mitzi Gaynor is one of those people it's impossible not to notice.
Mitzi Gaynor was a star during the golden age of Hollywood musicals.
In olden days, a glimpse of stalking was looked on as something shocking. Now heaven knows anything goes.
A triple threat, a singer, an actress, a dancer. Cast in the coveted lead role in South Pacific in 1958, the classic World War II Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. The song, I'm Gonna Wash That Man Right Out of My Hair.
I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair and send him on his way.
The role earning her a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress. She would perform alongside Hollywood's biggest names.
Jack and I are in love. Madly? Oh, please don't joke about it. We fought it, really, we have.
With Betty Grable in My Blue Heaven, opposite Marilyn Monroe and Ethel Merman in No Business Like Show Business. Dancing with Gene Kelly in Les Girls.
Mitzi, my dear, you may have the entire card.
Frank Sinatra in his TV specials with Dean Martin and Bing Crosby. And on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1964. She had top billing over the other act that night, The Beatles.
I was one of those people that could do anything, and at my age, I was kind of like what they used to call a triple threat.
Mitzi Gaynor died in her home this morning at 93. Once saying the secret to aging gracefully is simple. Just have a good attitude, enjoy who you are, remember that life is a wonderful thing. Words to live by. Remember, life is a wonderful thing, and what a talent until the end. I'm David Muir. Good night. Body tonight here, celebrating actress Mitzi Gaynor from the golden age of Hollywood musicals.
Mitzi Gaynor is one of those people it's impossible not to notice.
Mitzi Gaynor was a star during the golden age of Hollywood musicals.
In olden days, a glimpse of stalking was looked on as something shocking. Now heaven knows anything goes.
A triple threat, a singer, an actress, a dancer. Cast cast in the coveted lead role in South Pacific in 1958, the classic World War II Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. The song, I'm Gonna Wash That Man Right Out of My Hair.
I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair and send him on his way.
The role earning her a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress. She would perform alongside Hollywood's biggest names.
Jack and I are in love. Madly? Oh, please don't joke about it. We fought it, really, we have.
With Betty Grable in My Blue Heaven, opposite Marilyn Monroe and Ethel Merman in No Business Like Show Business. Dancing with Gene Kelly in Les Girls.
Mitzi, my dear, you may have the entire card.
Frank Sinatra in his TV specials with Dean Martin and Bing Crosby. And on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1964. She had top billing over the other act that night, the Beatles.
I was one of those people that could do anything, and at my age, I was kind of like what they used to call a triple threat.
Mitzi Gaynor died in her home this morning at 93. Once saying the secret to aging gracefully is simple. Just have a good attitude, enjoy who you are, remember that life is a wonderful thing. Words to live by. Remember, life is a wonderful thing, and what a talent until the end. I'm David Muir. Good night.